Hello, YouTube family, Facebook family, biological family, friends, and new acquaintances. I'm Carol Cortez on assignment, and that's to bless us all. Welcome to AHEAD. That's an acronym for Achievers, Happy, Encouraged, Accomplished, and Determined. Our subject title today is Financial Freedom, and the subtitle is It Can Be Yours. We have a guest today. His name is Stephen Gomez, and he has generously set aside time to bless us with his knowledge and wisdom on this subject. So I ask you to please join me in welcoming Stephen to bless us with his information so that we all can be wiser.
Thank you, Carol. Thank you, viewers. I want to thank you again for the opportunity to be here and share some information with you. I myself used to run and own martial arts schools. I had 4 by the time I was 20, loved doing it, but I didn't have a financial coach, and so I started to look around for one, and I found some great mentors, and that was about 10 years ago. Since then, my wife and I were expanding our personal finance brokerage with our partners, and we love helping people improve their financial situation. Today, I'm just going to share a little bit of information with you, something called the Rule of 72. I'm going to go through it here on the board. I believe at the end we're going to get an up-close shot of the board, so if you can't see it clearly now, please bear with me and we'll get a chance to see it more clearly towards the end of the video, I believe. Okay, so the Rule of 72 is a strategy that we use to tell us how quickly something will double based on the interest rate. You take 72, you divide it by the interest rate, and that will give you the number of years for it to double. In the area of debt, say for example you have a credit card, and I've seen credit card interest rates as high as 27%. If you have a credit card that's at 27%, that debt will double every 2.6 years. That's fast. If you are making the minimum payments and your debt is doubling every 2.6 years, it's going to take 30, 40 years or more for you to pay off that debt. That's why we call it the credit trap. Okay, so 2 strategies for that. Number 1, avoid the credit trap altogether. Only use a credit card if you absolutely have to, and don't spend more than what you already have. Okay, the second point on that is if you are in the credit trap, the absolute best way to get out of it is number 1, check your interest rate. If you're paying a very, very high interest rate, that's working against you. You want to get that working for you. So you want to see if you can get a lower interest rate if possible. Okay. The third thing there, and this is the part a lot of people don't like to hear, is if you're in the credit trap, the best way out is to make more money. A lot of people don't like to hear that all the time. They want the easy solution, somebody to resolve it, sign some paperwork, get rid of it, bankruptcy, etc. But all of that has damaging, long-lasting negative effects for your financial health. The absolute best way to get out of debt is to make more money and be more conscious of how you're using that money and where that money is going. Okay, so the answer isn't always spend less. A lot of times that answer is actually make more. So sometimes that's getting a raise at work. Sometimes that is getting a secondary job, running a side business, or as we call it today, a side hustle, right? Or learning a new field, okay? What I do want to emphasize though is I've worked with a lot of clients, and sometimes they look to education as the answer. I love education, education is wonderful, but that's not always the answer, and here's why, okay? If you are already in debt, and you decide to go back to school, that can sometimes take 2 years or 4 years, so that's not an immediate solution. Plus, often if you're already in debt, you're going to have to borrow money to pay for those courses. And often if you look at the end income, the increase from where you're at to where you're going usually is not that dramatic. It's a few percentage points from where you were. So you're now 4 years in debt, okay, still in debt, not making a profit, and it may take you another 4 to 8 years before you actually pay back the debt that you had to borrow to get that education. So it may wind up being 12 to 15 years before you even see a single dime in profit. So that's why, unfortunately, education isn't always the answer to making more money or solving your debt situation. So again, raises at work, secondary income, second jobs, and or a side hustle, some craft, hobby, something you can turn into a personal business, and or somebody who's willing to teach you their business or their craft, okay? So now let's take a look at how the rule of 72 can work for you instead of against you, all right? On the far side of the board here, I have family saving at $300 a month, and let's say this individual or family starts at age 25, and they save $300 a month from age 25 to age 65, average working lifetime. Okay, and the reason I pick 65 is a lot of people like to aim for retirement at 65, okay? The national savings average in savings accounts and banks across the country this year is about 1%, okay, which is actually less than inflation, so even at 1% you're losing money, but at 1%, $300 a month from 25 to 65, you will save up roughly $177,000. That may sound like a lot of money, but it's really not. Here's why. You retire at 65, and let's say you and or your spouse survive from 65 to 85. That's 20 years. How is $100,000 going to last two adults for 20 years? It's not, okay? So that's really not a good plan. Okay, 6%. 6% is better, okay? That's $600,000 that you would have at retirement, okay? So if you can go from 1% to 6%, that's a dramatic improvement, yes? Okay, at 9%, the difference is 1.4 million, specifically $1,414,929, okay? This does not need to be somebody who's making over $100,000. Even those who are making less than $100,000 a year can set aside $300 a month from 25 to 65, provided they started at age 25, right? Okay, and that's why it's important to get this information out to our youngsters today. They can still retire a millionaire even if they've never earned over $100,000 in their life. Okay, this is powerful information, okay? So the question now becomes, how do we get to 9%? That's where the help and guidance of a financial professional, a licensed financial professional, really comes into play. There's a variety of different financial vehicles and instruments that, based on your age, income, lifestyle, risk tolerances, may be appropriate for you to work with and will help you get to that 9%. Okay, when I say a licensed financial professional, I should clarify that I really mean somebody who is a fiduciary. A fiduciary is a technical term. What it means is that a fiduciary has a higher ethical and legal obligation to do what is beneficial for the client, okay? Not everybody who has a financial license, either for insurance or investments, is a fiduciary. Just because they're licensed doesn't necessarily mean that they actually have to do what's right for you, okay? So that's really important to understand. They can sell you something that maybe isn't quite right for you, but still not illegal. Does that make sense? So what you're looking for is you're looking for somebody who's going to be a fiduciary, who's going to have your best interests at heart, and usually in the areas of savings and investing, you want to make sure you're doing that separately, not inside a life insurance policy or anything like that, okay? Because what's going to happen then is that individual is typically going to want to see you grow. And oftentimes they're paid on commissions or bonuses, and that's good for you. That means they have a vested financial interest in your success. They want to see you do well because the more money you make, the more they make. Does that make sense? Okay, excellent. So here's the difference. The real difference between 1% and 9% isn't 8. I used to think that, right? Between 1 and 9 is 8. No, the difference is $1,237,814 difference. That is a $1.2 million mistake most American families are making today because they don't know where to go to get that 9%. There's a lack of information, a lack of education, It's not taught in the schools, it's not taught in the universities, and most jobs, they don't teach that. Okay, so that's important to learn that information, to work with a financial professional there. If you enjoyed the information that we went over today, my partners and I, we are expanding. Okay, so a couple of things. One is, if you like the type of information we shared with you today, I can offer you something called a complimentary financial needs analysis. And that's for anybody who is residing here in New York, specifically Long Island, that's Queens, Nassau County, or Suffolk County. The financial needs analysis is a process where we sit down, we find out what are your dreams and goals, what is it that you do want to accomplish, and then we take a look at, well, where are your finances now, and then we put together some strategies, proven strategies and concepts to help you get from point A to point B, where you are to where you want to go, and we do that complimentary, okay? The other thing is, since we are expanding, we're looking for part-time associates. We're also looking to develop some full-time partners, individuals who would enjoy learning this type of information, teaching this type of information, and would love to make more money. So if you're in that category where you need to make more money, okay, and you don't want to give up your day job, we have some amazing flexible part-time opportunities where we would take care of the licensing, the training, and you'd be partnered with someone like myself who would do it with you, so that way you don't have to go out there and do it all by yourself. So we have some fantastic part-time opportunities, some amazing full-time opportunities starting 6 figures and up, and I can be contacted at this number here at 631-575-9091 if you want to learn more about either the opportunities or the financial needs analysis. Thank you so much, Carol. I appreciate your time.
Stephen, thank you so much for your time and for your wisdom and knowledge, for sharing it with us. And I want to say in closing, thank you to all of my viewers who have given me a thumbs up in appreciation of the information that we've shared with you. Also, I want to say thank you for those who subscribed, and thank you also for viewing. I'm coming a little closer to you just so you can see me more clearly. And sorry about that out of view moment. Also, I ask that you please subscribe by clicking on subscribe. Also, you have the option to click on comment and leave me your comments. As Stephen said, you can reach out to him, and I encourage you to do that so that you can be blessed with the information and the direction that they can share with you. Also, ring the bell. If you ring the bell that's by the word subscribe, it will keep you informed of our upcoming broadcast so that you can stay connected. Lastly, along with contacting Stephen, there's another company that I'll be mentioning where they can help you also with part-time opportunities. So if you'd like, you can give me a comment that just says, "Thank you, I'm interested." So, lastly, I want to say thank you for viewing, and please stay blessed, stay encouraged, and stay connected with me. And I'll talk to you real soon. Click on subscribe.